And we are live. Tonight we have a great show. We are going to talk about the concept of Shadowbanned. We offer a comprehensive look into this concept called shadow banning, specifically as it applies to YouTube. Many creators would tell you that, hey, this visibility suppression, my videos are being suppressed for one reason or another. And we're going to look into that. We're going to look at this claim really true. Some people swear they are. Now, they say that the account can be omitted from discovery and search tools. Okay. Having experienced that, so it's hard for me to kind of say that. There are people that do claim that they, not only one, but a few people claim that their account have been shadow banned, and they explain that basically they have been a serious drop in views on their channel, and the concern is that they have been banned. Now, with regard to censorship, that is possible. There are certain things that violate a community guideline that could potentially make that a true concern. But other than that, why would YouTube suppress your channel? Well, let's dive into it, right? What does it mean to be shadow banned? And a simple explanation is right here: a drastic or dramatic and unexplained decrease in viewership can be a signal of shadow ban, right? But why does a sudden drop in viewership happen? Is shadow banning the only reason that would happen? I would think not, right? So the main reason could be a simple explanation: poor content quality. That was me checking the audio. Poor content quality. If you post a video that I love quality, it's a good reason why the number of viewers will drop, right? It's a very simple explanation. Very simple explanation for that, right? And we've seen that. We post video every day, and those video could be great quality or it could be a poor quality. And not all video will hit. Not all video will give you what you need, basically. And that's very simple. If you take a look at, and I'm going to look in a few minutes, I'm going to look at my channel to just prove a point, because in reality, if we look at, let me take a look at my channel right now and see if I could explain that better by an example. If I look at the content on my channel, right, there are some that I just posted that have very low view, and they picked it up and stuff like that. There's some that have very high view. But could it be that the content of this video here is of a higher quality than the content of this video? So does that mean that I'm shadow banned? That's why this concept is very difficult to prove. Because you could say I've been shadow banned, but in reality, what is happening is the quality of the product you're putting out is not that good. It's poor. So you have to be able to test the YouTube and the algorithm to see if you're truly banned. And we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. So stick around. In reality, we're going to be discussing, as I said earlier, 12 reasons why you might think your channel is being shadow banned. The first one is, to me, the most obvious reason. It is not the algorithm. It is it is your channel, right? It is you that are putting out poor quality content out there. But the second one is a real one. The second reason is a real one. The reason, guideline violation. Now, if you violate community guidelines, you will not only get banned, your channel could be completely eliminated, destroyed, stopped, erased, taken out of the system. I guess you get my point on that. And one of the quickest way to do that is what I call copyright violation. We talked about that last night. Copyright violation is one of the easiest ones to do. You put in a music for which you don't have the right to, or you cannot explain, provide insufficient evidence to YouTube as to why you're using that piece of music. You know, YouTube is a business. They don't want to get taken to court to be able to explain why they're violating the copyrights or other content creators. Using a video that is not yours in your channel is another violation of community guidelines. So, if you say I violated community guideline, therefore I'm being shadow banned, well, yeah, you are. But there's a big reason for that. Now, the other one is, which is an important one, you could do it really without really even thinking about it, is alleging or putting out false information, especially those channels that deal with, exercises, deal with medical issue, deal with political concerns. There was a lot of that a couple of years back, alleged false information, fake news, if you want to call it. Whether it was fake news or not, that caused some violation to be alleged to have violated the community guidelines, and therefore got the channel banned. Not just your content, your complete channel was banned in some cases. So putting in accurate information is important. That'll be the counter of false information. Another one is YouTube sometimes would warn you of an error, and they said, I don't know that they will prevent people from mentioning or tagging your specific account. That might be more an allegation or anything else, rather than being a shadow banning. But in reality, you do get some warnings sometimes. I say, hey, you violated a copyright. Please give us some information about it. And basically, if you provide information, YouTube may accept your explanation, or they may not accept it, in which case they may ask you to change the content, or like for example, the music, the background music, things of that nature. But in some cases, you get no warning. You just get banned. And the reason for that is quite clear. And I'll explain that in a few minutes, because in reality, YouTube is a business, and as a business, they must protect themselves from errors that the YouTuber like ourselves might be making in the hope to get a few clicks. So if we do something that is not correct, they have the right to take action, and that's what they've done in some cases. Um, there are some claims that says if a channel has many subscribers, but YouTube providing few impression, that the content is banned or is shadow banned. But the question that I have is the content really being intentionally buried by the algorithm? If you remember from the discussion that we had last night, what is the algorithm? Isn't it basically people? Isn't it basically your audience? If you post 3 videos and one does very well and the other 2 do not, well, why don't you look at the videos themselves? Were they all of the same quality? Were they all part of the same theme? If the first video was about cat and people love cat, and the second video was about dog, and the third video was about snake, there are 3 different, although they are in the animal themes, they are sub niches that may not go well with every subscriber. And that could be the reason why you're getting few impression on your channel, even though you may have many subscribers. So that's the question. Is the content being intentionally shadow banned? I cannot answer that question. Some people claim that it does, or they claim that it does not. And it's up to you to decide. But my suggestion to this point is look at the content, look at the quality of the videos, and see what's going on. Let's talk about another reason why a person may think they're being shadow banned, or for why you're getting low views, right? It's called content mixing. If you mix shorts and long video in one channel, that could confuse the audience, in this case, the algorithm, and might negatively impact how the algorithm recommend and performs, right? So are you saying only have short video on one channel, only have long video on another channel? Some people say yes, other people say no. People say you got to have a combination of both. My experience is this, and you could take it for what it's worth. Short provide you with quick access to subscriber. If you do a lot of shorts and they're great quality, people will subscribe to your channel because they want more. And it will be easier for you to get to the 1,000 subscriber mark than if you only do long video. That may not be true if you do videos that are of extremely high quality and they do very, very well. But for me, my experience is that long video, initially, they do poorly when you compare them to long video. So people use the strategy of doing a short video to get to the 1,000 subscriber mark really quick. And then they do long video to get to the 4,000 watch hours and be able to have enough content that YouTube is able to put advertising on it in the future. Now, is content mixing something you want to look into? Obviously, it's there for a reason. There are some, it's a thought pattern that says if you mix both in the same channel, that could potentially get you to the situation where you might be in the situation that you think you are shadow banned. There are people that are really good with shorts. The issue with the shorts is you have to get 10 million watch hours if you are going to monetize using shorts, which is not impossible if you have great shorts, because shorts will give you a lot of views, but the watch hours that you get from them are minuscule. In contrast to long video, that might give you less views, but give you lots of watch hours. In contrast with the live streaming, where you get lots of watch hours, and you may or may not get subscriber. So most people opt to have a combination of short video, long video, streaming, and other functions such as mixing the three of them and creating different kind of content within the same channel in order to make progress and be able to get to both the 1,000 subscriber and the 4,000 watch hours. So it's up to you to decide, but it's something for you to look into. People say if you do that, you will confuse the audience. You know, you have to test it and be sure that you look into it. Now, avoid spamming. Start sub-promoting in comments and sub to sub channels. So if you have multiple channels, right, and you use one channel to promote another channel, they feel that that's a spamming behavior, that the algorithm looks into it and may cause you to get lower view because of that. It's sort of like a punishment for having a spamming behavior. That has been promoted by multiple YouTubers, that's the situation. So what do? You kind of join groups that have the same behavior as you, and you promote to each other, right? You are able to look into how can you watch my video and I watch your video kind of situation, a quid pro quo, is what people call it. So that's important. Just think about it. Self-promotion is a spamming behavior, and that could get you in trouble. The next one is 28 days rule. If you're shadow banned, people say don't post every day. Let it go for a month to 28 days. And that will maintain a clean, no violation, no behavior for 28 days. You often allow the system to lift any suppression. You allow the algorithm to suppress the shadow banning that was going on. I haven't tested that. I'm more into the camp of post consistently, and in the hope that will get you to where you need to go. But it is a behavior that's advertised by multiple YouTubers. Like last night I said, post consistently. Don't stop posting, right? That was the behavior, the behavior that I advocated last night. But if you're being shadow banned, it goes against that. I say, hey, let's stay clean for 28 days. And basically, if after that, I begin to to post new video, following the correct strategy, and then seeing what happens. See if the shadow banning effect is deleted, has abated, has gone away. Most people will say, if I don't post for 28 days, I have no income for 28 days. That may not be true, but it is a possibility. The next one is optimization. And this is a simple one. By now, everyone should know that the channel needs to be properly verified and optimized to regain favors. So that should be one of the first things you check to be sure that for whatever reason your channel is verified and optimized. The next reason why you might be shadow banned is uploading unoriginal, high frequency, low quality content. That could trigger what is being deemed as shadow banning. Again, go back to my original premise that says if you have low content, basically you're not going to get the kind of views that you're looking for. So again, is that shadow banning or is that a result of your behavior as a YouTube creator? You need to decide that. Now, the next one and the final one is a technical trigger. Using the same IP for multiple channels or using free IP can lead to a channel being tagged or flagged. What does that mean? Let's say you go to a place that they have free Wi-Fi and they all go to YouTube at the same time and they all look at your video at the same time. Now, that could trigger YouTube to say, hey, same IP for all these devices. Therefore, I'm going to shadow ban. I don't know if that is happening, right? But that's the claim that is being made. But you think about it, right? If you have a live event, even in your office, even at a public place, and you want to watch a video together with your subscriber to gain watch hours, right? And you say you post a video and you ask, hey, go look at my video as we go through this presentation to help us achieve the watch hours that we need. But the claim is if you do that, you have multiple channels, right? YouTube channels under the same IP or under the same free VPN, and that will cause the channel to be flagged. Again, that's a technical claim that's being made, which I haven't experienced, but I have heard this before from other YouTubers. So I'm going to offer you one of the solutions right now, because that way I'm going to go into what can we do to recover from a shadow ban. The solution for the technical trigger is to use a dedicated ISP proxy for multiple accounts and ensure reused content is significantly transformed with original commentary or editing. What does that mean? First of all, let's talk about the last one, significant and transformed. Now let's talk about the first one. Use a dedicated IP and proxy. Obviously, if you could do that, that would be best. I mean, if I'm at home, I have my own dedicated IP address. And if I'm at work, I may have an ISP proxy, or if I'm at a public place, they may have an IP proxy. And they may have multiple accounts, so you may want to use one of those accounts. I know that at work, they have multiple accounts that you could use to look at YouTube, and you could select one of those. And I'm speaking of at our office location where we have multiple companies working together. So there might be multiple IP addresses because they have their own channel, their own system. The company may have 2 or 3 ISP proxy to use. So use a different one. That may only get you 2 or 3 out of that. So it's a difficult one to overcome if you're trying to get multiple people to watch your content at an event, right? I mean, if they're doing it at home separately, separate houses, separate location, it's not a problem. Obviously, right? Because they will have different IP addresses. But if you have an event where you say, okay, I got 200 people in this event, I want to view a video during the event, and everyone will get their phone and they log into their IP addresses that is provided, and they watch the video at the same time that you're having the event. The question is, do you get credit for 200 hours? It seems to me, based on this, that you probably will not. You might get 200 hours, but then YouTube may come back later on and say, oh, no, I don't like it, take it out. You got same IP addresses. And that's some of the comments that we've been getting lately that, oh, I got mine, 4,000 hours. And then when you go through the editing process to the verification process of YouTube, they might take those 4,000 hours and say, no, you only got 2,000 or you only got 1,000 because many of them came from the same IP addresses. So getting watch hours is becoming more and more difficult. And you have to remember what YouTube is looking for is that content that is viewed by multiple people so they could add advertising and make money out of that, and then they will pay you, right? So they're looking for organic growth. They're looking for your content to be good enough for the general population, for people to just click and like your content, and for people to view your content. If that is not is happening, and there's an artificial element introduced into what you are doing, there's a good likelihood that the watch hours may not count. It's for you to evaluate that. Now, the next one, reuse content. For example, I don't like to use other people's video to do commentary. I don't like to use other people's video and use like clip. I mean, it can be done. I'm not saying that I'm never going to do it. So far, I have not been doing that because I'm afraid of copyright violation. But what YouTube is saying, if you do use content, you reuse the content from another creator, you have to be significantly transformed. And what is significantly transformed? Well, new thumbnail, new title, new music, new editing techniques. You're not just taking a piece and putting it right into your video on your channel for other people to view. So if you significantly transform the content, then you are okay. But if you didn't, you may not be. And like I said, significant is kind of it's not difficult to define, but it might be in the eyes of the beholder, and that beholder may be a machine. So all that I could tell you, what are the things that account for that, like editing, thumbnail, title, and things of that nature. Now the commentary, they say original commentary, that's also a minefield there. Not sure whether or not you could use Avatar to do commentary. I think you can. Some people are doing it. It might be okay, but they're looking at if you do your own voice, that's original. If you make your own comment, your own impression, your own ideas as to what the video is about, you own, whether it's flow video, whether it's a good video, whether you like it, whether you dislike it, and explain the reason why. That is an original commentary. If you're using AI voices to do commentary, is it original? Some people say it's not. So be careful with that. Editing is the hallmark. Editing is the bedrock. Editing is the one of the main reasons why a content may be significantly transformed. Take, for example, pieces of video, 2 or 3 videos, right? And you cut pieces of it and you make commentary between them. And you do some unique editing, like adding emojis, like adding new background. That is something that you have transformed that work significantly so that it's no longer the original piece. So editing could be your best friend when it comes to transforming the work. I do that, but I do it with my own videos, with my own. I comment on my own videos, which to me is safer, original work. But if you're going to use somebody else's video, my suggestion is that you get written permission from them, so you have that available in case you are hit with a copyright violation. So let's talk about a couple of steps for recovering your channel from the so-called shadow banning. The first question you must ask yourself, is shadow banning real? In order to determine that, you need to test to determine if the channel is being suppressed. And if you go back through some of these real quick, they're really easy to identify. Poor content, obviously. You'll never think your own work contain poor content, but the number of views that you get on a video will tell you whether the content is good or bad, for the most part. If you get to that one, what's the solution to that? Do better content, do better video. Community guideline violation, especially copyright violation. Well, YouTube will let you know if you violated the guideline for sure. Plus, read the guidelines. It tell you what you can and cannot do. So do not violate community guideline is the solution to not being shadow banned. False information, that's a good one, right? But it's an easy one. Just check, double check, triple check, right? We say AI makes error. Every website that you go to and you're dealing with AI, it tells you, double check your work. AI makes errors. We all know that that's the case. So if you don't think the information is accurate, double check it. If you could have AI or one AI check another one, sometimes that helps to validate the information. Or you could go to Google and check the information yourself, which I've done a couple of times. So the solution for alleging false information is to double check, triple check your work and make sure that you're not providing any false information, especially when it comes to medical, when it comes to political information, etc. Now, the next one, interaction barrier, right? It's real simple. If you get a warning from YouTube, take it seriously, act on it right away. I've gotten a couple of warnings that tell me, no, this is not a violation, but if you don't take action now, eventually it could be. So the minute they say that, replace the music, delete the music, even delete the video if you have to. Make it private. You don't have to delete anything. You can make it private. And at least you still have the video you could use later on after you make a determination on what the problem was. So if you get a warning of an error, you get a warning of violation, take action right away, right? So this one here about the algorithm burying your content intentionally. Replace the word algorithm by audience. Replace algorithm by the word people. It is people that are intentionally burying your work. If your video, like Mr. B says, is no good, people will not watch it. So it's not being buried. always look at the content first and make a determination whether it's being good or bad. I'm not defending the algorithm, and I'm not saying that there are situations where you might get your content may not be pushed forward, but the 90% of the time is they don't push it forward because people are not clicking on it. So think about that. Now, this is the next one is a technical term, right? Missing short and long videos, and like right now we're doing streaming. So the claim is if you make short, long videos and other forms of delivery, like streaming right now, that it could you get shadow banned. Well, they're different, quite different set of skills, and that might be true, but I, it's a technical thing. You have to test it. My test says that it's inconclusive. So, but you have to test that. And most of the people that you talk to, they will tell you, I'm a short specialist. So they only post short and they do very well. I'm a long form content creator and they do very well on that. So there could be something to it. But most people will suggest to you that shorts in combination with long videos, the combination with streaming is a formula that will make from which you will make progress day in and day out. So sometimes you're not a lucky person that able to create a video that hits 1 million views and everything was fine. You might be like me, an average Joe, where everything you have to work for it every day. You have to get online. You have to basically create video after video, learn from each mistake. It might take you months to get to where you need to be. If you remember what Mr. B says, which I've been watching a lot of his video, he said it took him years to learn the craft of creating virality, creating video that goes viral all the time. So if you only be doing YouTube for a very short time, don't think you have everything buttoned up, that you have all the work ready to go, because you may not. So that's the thing there. So you decide whether you want to mix content or not. Avoiding spamming. This is something that I've seen a lot of people do. They have multiple channels and they use one channel to promote the other channel. I don't think I don't think people would stop doing that. But again, that's the behavior that they're saying that the algorithm is looking for and not supporting that. I know for some of the people that have got demonetized, is saying that basically some of the watch hours they had, they didn't receive credit for because of that technique. So it's not that expanding is bad. It's the fact that if you do it, yes, you're going to get the credit hours initially. But what's going to happen? You are going to lose those hours during monetization, or most of them. Think about that. Now, this is another solution for avoiding being spanned, avoiding being banned. Is a 28-day rules. If you think you are doing some of the things that we talked about, spanning, contact mixing, interaction better, getting warnings, having poor content, the solution could basically be stop posting for 28 days. The algorithm will reset and then begin to post again in the hope that the algorithm will pick up what you're doing and basically would reward your new behavior. Right. The next one was optimization. Ensure the channel is properly verified and optimized. If you haven't done that by now, we got a bigger problem than we are talking about shadow banning. Now, reuse and mass production, uploading unoriginal or high frequency, low quality content. That goes back to the very first step that I talked about, poor content strategy. So the solution for that is create better video. Spend more time with your thumbnail, more time with your title, more time with your YouTube description, more time with your tags, more time with your script, in the hope that the better video that you will create will bring you more views. And we already talked about the technical trigger or the same IP and the solution for that. So I'm not going to restate that again, but I will say I want to go back to this one here. Um, Adopting a more organic growth approach. And what that means to me is this basically. Instead of using a lot of the gimmicks that I mentioned, multiple devices under the same IP, for example, adopt a more organic behavior, which is go out there and speak to your subscriber, find out what kind of information they are looking for, and begin to provide that information to them. Think of it as you only have a single subscriber and write to that subscriber. And before you know, you will have 2, 3, 4, 5 subscribers you write into, but in reality, those are multiples. And your channel will grow. They'll make good comments on your video. They will give you a thumbs up. They will do likes on your video. And before you know, you have a whole community that's helping you out. So one of the things you may want to do, which I haven't speak to it so far, is search verification. If the channel and its videos still appear on the search results, it is likely it's not being shadow banned. So the answer is simple. Search for your video, search for your channel. If you could find it, that means other people could find it. So when you say, oh, I'm being shadow banned, if you could find it in the search results, that means you are not being shadow banned. Right? So that's a simple solution, right? And the only thing that's important, and it's kind of more technical in nature, is this one here. When you're being perceived as shadow banned, it's often a shift in YouTube's layout. That meaning that the community guideline change and the strategic priority as a business have changed. Remember, YouTube is it's a business, right? So if you're making a lot of political commentary and that's getting YouTube in trouble, they're gonna say, you know what? I want to minimize that kind of behavior, and they're going to what? Pay you less for that kind of work, not push it forward as far as preferred content. So it's just basically a business for YouTube. They want to be sure they are here tomorrow, and they don't get banned or get in trouble with the government. They don't get government in trouble with the FCC and the ruling and authority on this communication. So if your behavior is impacting the business of YouTube, most likely you'll see some retribution. And I'm using that word loosely, right? You'll see some change on the YouTube behavior, some change in the YouTube community guidelines, some change on how you get paid, some change in how much you will get paid. So that's the reason why that is happening. So one of the things that was observed on the YouTube homepage was shorts and payable. They reduced the number of impressions available to long-term content. And basically, YouTube is favoring more shorts than they are favoring long-term content. So it's being said, I guess initially, but in reality, they pay more in long-term content than they do in short-term content. So you have to take a look at what is the flavor of the month. Is YouTube serving ice cream, or they're serving peanut butter sandwiches, right? And you want to deliver that to them. You want to adapt what's going on to whatever YouTube is serving that month, right? So it's a behavior as a business that you have to be looking at. You must be able to adapt to change, not only to YouTube, but then you have to adapt to change to what the viewers are looking for, right? The viewers dictate what you write. And that's what I was saying earlier. It's not the algorithm, it's the people, it's the viewer, it's the audience that determine whether your videos are of good quality or of poor quality. So you need to adapt to that. And the one they tell you how whether they like your work or not is they will give you more views, they'll give you comments, they give you likes, they give you emojis. So those things are what you should be looking for in order to adapt to the behavior of the viewer. And again, I already talked about platform priority, I mean YouTube priority rather than attributing decline to a hidden band. So once again, I go back to my original question that I asked, which is, are the claims that are being made really true? It's up for you to decide. But the facts are the facts, right? The facts are that your channel might be experiencing low view or lower view than before. And you have to say what is going on. So the first thing that most people will do, they will blame it on someone. They'll blame it on YouTube, or they'll blame it on the algorithm. But the algorithm is a machine. It doesn't know any better. It does whatever it's programmed to do. And basically, what is it programmed to do? It's programmed to find video that people like. And if they like, it will reward you by adding more viewers to the list, putting more effort to getting it out there. And why does he do that? Because the number of clicks drive the amount of money that YouTube makes, and that would drive and yield a greater number of income for you. So it is a learning system. The algorithm is a learning system. It rewards you for behavior that tells you basically this is what you should be doing. These are the types of video you should be posting. These are the type of videos that you should be posting. Whether you do shorts, whether you do long videos, whether you do streaming, they all require different techniques. If you can master them all, great. Or if you want to do a single path where you just concentrate in one area and you hope that that will get you to the promised land, so to speak. It will get you to nirvana. It will get you to where you need to be. It will get you to achieving your goals and objectives. That's for you to decide. With that being said, this is the end of the video tonight. I'd like to thank you all for attending this live chat. It was a pleasure talking to you, everyone. Good night.